Hi, welcome back to another Daily Lore. I didn't post on Friday, so I think I didn't post on Friday, so I'm gonna record for the rest of the week. So 5 days, so 5 recordings. I mean, two of them are technically bonuses, right? No, yeah, two of them are technically bonus because I post normally 3 times a day, 3 times a week. So two of them are bonuses. So technically one's a bonus, but whatever. Welcome to another daily lore react. Um, so next 5, obviously, if you want to read, of course, but otherwise, um, you, uh, I wasn't going to say it, but you know what to do if you want to do it. Let's go.
This is how unrecognized masturbation addiction looks in men.
My mother-in-law accidentally...
That was terrible. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get rid of this thing. Okay, let's go.
spilled red wine on my wedding dress at the reception. When she smugly asked if I was upset, I calmly removed my wig and said, "I've beaten cancer twice. A stained dress won't break me." The look on her face was priceless. I never thought my wedding day would be memorable for all the wrong reasons, but looking back now, I wouldn't change a thing. It revealed truths about my new family that might have taken years to discover otherwise. Daniel and I met during my first round of chemotherapy. Not the most romantic setting, the sterile oncology.
Romance finds weird ways to find each other, so that's probably not the right way to say it, but whatever.
Ward where he volunteered, bringing books and conversation to patients undergoing treatment. I was 27, recently diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and determined to face my illness with as much grace as possible. He was 29, kind-eyed and patient, never treating me like I was fragile even as my hair fell out and my strength wavered. We fell in love between my treatments, our relationship evolving alongside my recovery. By the time I received my first all-clear scan, Daniel had become my rock, my confidant, and my future. When cancer returned unexpectedly 2 years later, he stayed, holding my hand through the even more aggressive treatment.
2 years later. Yeah. Because of, I don't know about cancer, but I think you taste like you have to continue going back regularly every 5 years or so, or within 5 years. After 5 years, it's like gone, I think, or is it's kind of suppressed, I believe. Um, I don't think it's completely gone. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know how it works, but you would have to regularly check it to see you're fine, all clear, and then once the 5 years is up, you just go not as regular, but still has to go to the doctors, make sure. Um, I think after 5 years, if it's completely gone out of your system, you just have to go every, I don't know, 6 months or so. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. I would have to do research.
And celebrating with tears of joy when my oncologist finally pronounced me in remission. Through both battles, my hair was the most visible casualty. I experimented with scarves and hats before finding a wig that made me feel like myself again, expensive but worth every penny for the confidence it restored. By the time Daniel proposed, my natural hair had started growing back in uneven patches, but I continued wearing the wig for special occasions. And what occasion could be more special than our wedding? The problems began the moment Daniel introduced me to his mother, Eleanor. From our first meeting, her disapproval was palpable. It wasn't just that I wasn't the woman she'd envisioned for her only son, it was something deeper, more visceral. She smiled with her mouth but never her eyes, asking probing questions about my health with poorly disguised disappointment when I reported good news. Cancer often returns a third time, she informed me during one family dinner, cutting her meat with surgical precision. Daniel should be prepared for that possibility.
What's wrong with you? I mean, my God. Honestly, you should be happy.
Daniel defended me fiercely, but Eleanor was relentless in subtle ways. She forgot to include me in family photos. She sent Daniel articles about cancer recurrence rates and the burden illness places on spouses. She questioned whether I could have children after chemotherapy, expressing concern about Daniel being denied the joy of fatherhood. Despite her opposition, Daniel and I moved forward with wedding plans. We chose a small venue, an intimate guest list, and a date that coincided
good.
with my 3-year remission milestone, a celebration of both our love and my health. Eleanor insisted on being involved, offering to handle certain arrangements that seemed innocuous enough: the rehearsal dinner, the seating chart, coordinating with the caterer. I selected a simple but elegant wedding dress, ivory satin with delicate beading that complemented my wig, a new one purchased specifically for the wedding, styled to look natural and match my pre-cancer hair. Looking in the mirror during my final fitting, I hardly recognized the reflection, not because of the dress, but because for the first time in years, I saw myself as whole. Healthy.
Yeah, now she actually is a full person. I mean, now she feels like she is herself again, basically. Because, of course, going through cancer probably, you know, takes a lot out of you.
Bride, not a patient. The wedding day arrived with perfect weather and minimal complications. The ceremony moved me to tears as Daniel recited vows that acknowledged our journey, promising to stand by me in sickness and in health with a depth of understanding few couples our age possessed. As we moved to the reception, I felt a lightness I hadn't experienced since before my diagnosis. That lightness evaporated the moment Eleanor approached us at the reception. She'd been drinking, her movements slightly unsteady as she navigated between tables toward where Daniel and I stood greeting guests. She carried a full glass of red wine that sloshed dangerously with each step. "My beautiful son and his brave bride," she announced loudly, drawing attention from nearby tables. Such an inspiring story. The cancer survivor and her devoted caretaker. Daniel tensed beside me.
Oh my god, what's wrong with her? She sounds bitter. That's what she sounds. Sounds like she's bitter. That's it. That's all she sounds like. I don't. I don't know if we probably will never actually learn why she's like this or why they're like this. But I'm just. I don't know. I can only speculate. I don't know if they have a dad or not. I don't know if this guy has a dad or not, or if the dad died or something. Not sure if the dad died or something, or if the mom just, or whoever they are. Uh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Or they just don't want their kid to be happy. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. Let's just keep listening.
"Mother, we're just husband and wife today. Nothing else needs defining." She ignored him, focusing on me with an unsettling intensity. "That wig looks almost natural. Most people would never guess what you've been through." Before I could respond, she took another step forward, seeming to trip over nothing. The glass in her hand tilted, sending a wave of dark red wine cascading down the front of my wedding dress. Gasps echoed around us as the stain bloomed across the ivory satin, spreading like a wound. "Oh," Eleanor exclaimed, her hand flying to her mouth in what might have appeared as genuine dismay to anyone who hadn't witnessed her calculated approach. "How clumsy of me. Your beautiful dress, I'm just devastated." Her eyes told a different story, watching my reaction with barely concealed satisfaction, expecting tears or anger that would cast me as the emotional, unstable bride she painted me to be in conversations with extended family. This was her final attempt to assert control, to remind me that I was damaged goods marrying into her perfect family. Something shifted inside me in that moment. After facing mortality twice before age 30, after watching my body betray me and then fight its way back, after enduring treatments that left me physically broken.
I mean, yeah, you're going to have some sort of different type of clarity of life if you almost die twice. You're going to have a different clarity, a different outlook on life. You're going to see how some things are just pointless. Which is true. A lot of things are pointless, but obviously, as humans, we make some sort of a big deal out of it. But after dying twice, almost dying twice, then you have a clarity like no other, pretty much.
But spiritually stronger, this petty act of sabotage seemed almost laughable in its insignificance.
3 tips to balance your hormones. In a female, coconut oil, teaspoon a day. I like to add it to my coffee.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
petty act of sabotage seemed almost laughable in its insignificance. I looked directly into Eleanor's eyes, seeing the challenge there, and made a decision. With steady hands, I reached up and removed my wig, revealing my short, uneven regrowth of hair, the battle scars I usually kept hidden from everyone except Daniel. "You asked if I was upset about the dress," I said, my voice calm but carrying in the sudden silence that had fallen around us. "I've beaten cancer twice. A stained dress won't break me." The look on Eleanor's face was priceless, shock replacing smug satisfaction as she realized her attack had not only failed but backfired spectacularly. Around us, guests who hadn't known the full extent of my health journey murmured in understanding. Daniel's aunt quickly appeared with club soda and napkins, fussing over my dress while shooting disapproving glances at Eleanor. Daniel's eyes filled with tears.
I mean, yeah, most people don't understand the actual stress it does on your body. The only way somebody will actually understand if they're there with you when you're going through it, and the way you look a lot weaker, a lot skinnier, or they actually see your head, because your head is the only other way, long term, even after you beat it, long term, to know you went through cancer, because obviously your hair takes a long time to grow back from being bald to having at least an inch of hair. It takes 1 month to grow 0.5 inches, I believe. So it takes a year to grow 6 inches of hair. But from being bald, completely bald, like what cancer would do, I think it'll probably take longer. I'm not sure. And also, I think unlike your nourishment, you could get that back within a couple of months or so. So most people won't see that.
As he looked at me standing there, wigless for the first time in public, unashamed of my visible scars. He took my hand and raised it to his lips. "Have I told you today how much I adore you?" Eleanor retreated, muttering excuses about getting more napkins, but the damage to her carefully cultivated image, not my dress, was irreparable. For the remainder of the reception, she sat alone at her table, watching as family members came to offer me quiet words of support or share their own stories of survival. I danced with my new husband, wig-free and wine-stained, feeling truly beautiful for perhaps the first time in years. The photographer captured candid shots that would later become my favorites, my authentic self, radiant despite, or perhaps because of, the visible evidence of both Eleanor's pettiness and my own strength. That night marked a turning point not just in my relationship with Eleanor, but in how I viewed myself. I'd spent years trying to hide the physical marks of my illness, assuming they made me less beautiful, less worthy. By forcing me to reveal what I'd kept hidden, Eleanor inadvertently gave me the greatest wedding gift possible, freedom from shame. The
Yeah.
aftermath was both predictable and surprising.
Honestly, she gave you the strength to do this, to be completely honest. Well, not really the strength, more like the motivation. She gave you a dare. She dared you to either do whatever you're going to do. That's exactly what she did. She dared you of doing whatever you're going to do, and you picked this to do, which is the best outcome for you.
Eleanor offered a stiff, clearly coerced apology the following day, claiming the wine spill was genuinely accidental. I accepted with equal insincerity, understanding that our relationship had found its footing in mutual acknowledgement of boundaries. She would never love me as the daughter she'd hoped for, and I would never grant her the power to make me feel inferior. What surprised me was how many people reached out in the weeks following the wedding, guests who had witnessed my moment of revelation sharing how it had affected them. Daniel's cousin began volunteering at a cancer support organization. His teenage niece decided to donate.
I mean, it makes sense. Now that, I wouldn't say everyone does this, but now that you have somebody in your family or somebody that you just found out that went through cancer, like visually, obviously, then obviously you might do something about it. Maybe. Not everyone.
her hair to a charity that makes wigs for cancer patients. Even his grandmother,
See, that sounds cool. But I'm sorry, no. I mean, that sounds cool, but I like my hair.
woman of few words, sent me a vintage brooch with a note that reads simply, True Beauty. Daniel and I recently celebrated our second anniversary. I'm still in remission, though I no longer hold my breath before each follow-up appointment. My hair has grown back differently than before, curlier, with streaks of
I mean, I know hair grows back, but I like my hair a lot, so.
premature gray I've chosen not to color. Eleanor remains in our lives, more subdued now, perhaps finally understanding that the strength that helped me survive cancer makes me impervious to her manipulations. Last month, we shared news that once seemed impossible. I'm pregnant.
Pregnant?
Our miracle
Yeah.
baby conceived naturally despite doctors' warnings about potential fertility issues. When we told Eleanor, I watched complex emotions cross her face, disappointment that her predictions had proven wrong, but also, perhaps, a reluctant recognition that her son had chosen well after all.
I mean, all she really wants is a grandchild, probably. So even if it's with a person she doesn't really acknowledge or that is going through something, she still is going to be fine with it because all she wants is a grandchild, and they probably just want their kid to be happy, most likely. But obviously, they're not really thinking about the kid while they're doing all this, because they're just thinking about themselves at this point until they realize.
Sometimes I look at our wedding photos, the before and after shots that tell the story of that day. In the earlier images, I'm picture perfect but somehow less present, hidden behind careful artifice. In the later ones, wine stained and wigless, I'm radiant with authenticity. The stain that was meant to ruin everything became the demarcation between pretending and living, between surviving and thriving.
Sorry to interrupt, but this is important. The shooter who murdered my sweet little Daniel.
What kind of abrupt ending is that shit? My god, I don't like when it does that. It's so annoying. Because usually it tells you about this. It usually tells you about what you learned in these things, but some of them don't. Uh, I mean, that kind of did actually at the end. I don't really have much of a reaction to this one. I mean, this one's more like just kind of wholesome. I mean, a lot of them are wholesome, but this one's more wholesome. I think I said that before. I don't remember. Uh, my my mother-in-law accidentally spilled red wine on my wedding dress at the reception when and that's why I just read the story. Hope you have a nice day, a good evening, a nice night, and a good morning. Okay, bye.